Ladies and gentlemen, the show we've all been waiting for, Paranormal Buzz Radio is proud to present REP Paranormal and Friends with your hosts, Kim Purvis and Allison Robinson. Live every Thursday night on Spreaker, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central, 5 Pacific. Be sure to check out their Facebook page, REP Paranormal Busters.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of Paranormal Buzz Radio or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is strictly prohibited. For information on everything Paranormal Buzz Radio has to offer, visit our website, paranormalbuzzradio.com. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Listener discretion is advised.
Anybody hear us now? Can you hear us? Hello? Let's see. Do I have it working now? Anybody? Bueller? Okay, sweet! Woo! Hallelujah! Okay! We got it! Oh yeah! Oh yeah! Third time's a charm! I thought I was going to have to run back home and get another bottle of wine. Alright, sweet.
I'm already
Alright,
that tequila.
Okay, so thanks for bearing with us tonight. I don't know what is our deal lately. I don't know. Something must be messing with our technology. But anyways, we thought we'd do something a little different with the show tonight. Something we haven't really talked about. A lot of times, we just talk about paranormal, but we thought, well, what about talk about witches and maybe Salem witch trials? It's, getting close to Halloween, usually
and
people...
we were tired of talking about ourselves.
Yeah, I'm tired of talking about ourselves. A lot of people associate witches with Halloween and things like that. But, so I went through and I just kind of did a little bit of research the other day. And, I've watched some documentaries and some, shows about it on TV. And Kim's over here flipping off her other computer. Oh, gosh. Darren says pilgrims. Yeah, we're not talking about haunted pilgrims tonight. That was pretty funny, though. But anyways, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the Salem witch trials. I didn't know, I just associated them with just Salem, but there's other places that have had witch trials too, like Connecticut, and then one of our friends, Danette, brought Mackinac to our attention, so Kim kind of looked that up tonight, so we might discuss that a little bit too, but I believe that the trials kind of started around 1692, and how those got started was basically there was a couple girls, I think they were about 9 and 11. There was Elizabeth Paris and Abigail Williams, and they were kind of the first ones that got this frenzy started. They started to have like these fits and uncontrollable screaming, and a doctor came, checked them out, and kind of said that it was caused by bewitchment. And then, soon after, you kind of see other girls, they started to show kind of the same symptoms. And when they asked the girls who was doing this to them, Elizabeth Paris, they had a slave, and her name was, I'm probably going to butcher this, Tituba, and she claimed that it was her that was doing this to her, that she was a witch. And so they put together these people to form these trials, and this Tituba kind of thought that if she confessed, maybe it wouldn't be as bad. So she confessed, saying she did it, but she had help from others. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a really bad pain inside my head. And so
maybe we should open that tequila.
Yeah, no kidding. Maybe I'll get rid of my headache. And said that she didn't act alone, and so she had kind of named some others that had helped her as well. And of course, there was Sarah Good, and then you had Bridget Bishop was another one. Those were kind of some popular names that came across as some of them that were hung for supposedly being witches. And, who in their right mind is going to sit there and believe these children that are throwing these spasms and whatever, uncontrolled fits, and say, oh, so-and-so is making me do this. And then they're going to hang them for it? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to... I don't know. I couldn't handle living back in that day. They probably would have thought I was something, the devil or a witch or who knows what. But Terrence says Chewbacca. I have not been to Salem. I have not been to Mackinac. I would like to go.
I was at Mackinac when I was probably 8 or 9, but I haven't been back since. And that was before I was into the paranormal, so I wasn't looking for anything there.
Yeah, no. Excuse me. But these girls, would say that they were possessed by the devil or whatever, and just spout out names of women in the community. And then, so therefore, they were accused of this witchcraft. And, the first one, obviously, was Bridget Bishop. She was convicted of witchcraft, and they hanged her in June. And then following her hanging, there was like 18 more that were convicted and hung as well. And Sarah Good and Tituba were among the accused. And I mean, I just can't believe this. And some of these women, they sat there and they basically just perished in prison. Like, I don't even know if they fed them or anything, but like I can't remember which one I watched. It was like a series they had on TV here like last spring or something. I can't remember what it was called, but their reenactment of it or whatever showed them, and they like tied them to these like supposedly poles is what they reenacted. I don't know if this is what really happened, but and just kind of let them like rot in this like cell type thing. And it was terrible. Like, they tried to tell them that they weren't witches, but it's like, how are they gonna sit there and determine if somebody is a witch or not. Like, I just don't get it. Oh, Darren said Kelly can tell us more about the witch from Mackinac Island. But I also read that their actions could have been caused by, this was a study done, and it was published in a magazine in the early 1970s, that there's this fungus ergot that's found in like rye, wheat, and other cereals, which toxicologists say can cause symptoms such as delusions, vomiting, and muscle spasms. So who knows? Maybe these girls had some other thing like that was causing it, and they weren't possessed, and nobody did no spells or anything on them. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was several girls. Like, there was
lots of names.
Yeah, there was lots of names. There's like,
Let me go back.
I don't know. There's like 6 or 7 names on here of girls that had accused other people of doing this. And then later on, they were starting to accuse men and children of it as well. Like, I don't know. Maybe they just liked hanging people. I don't know. Watching them suffer. I mean, just because, you know, I don't know. I mean, the one was a slave. The other one, I think Sarah Good, was either poor or homeless. So, you know, and nobody really cared for her. So, of course, they're just going to sit there and they're probably like, oh, she scares me. Or, oh, she doesn't seem like a nice person. I'm just going to say she's a witch and possess me. And so, therefore, we're just going to hang her and be done with her. Oh, Darren says John Ketchum was a big name in Salem as well. He eventually was casted out and went to Amityville and stayed where Amityville House was built. Very cool. I think I saw that name somewhere. I've read it somewhere. I don't remember where, but I did also read about another one, and this actually happened before the Salem witch trials. That's probably why I've heard that name, Darren. But anyways, this happened in March of 1662. And there was a couple, John and Bethia Kelly, and they had lost their 8-year-old daughter unexpectedly in Hartford, Connecticut. Her name was Elizabeth, and she had been fine until she came home from staying at a neighbor's house. And they believed that it was the devil's work as to why she died. And they stated that she became ill the night she returned home from Goody Ayers. And they claimed that their daughter had told them that Ayers was choking her and kneeling on her stomach. And it's not the first time, though, that somebody in that town had been accused of witchcraft. There was an Alice Young of Windsor had been sent to the gallows in I think I wrote that wrong, 1947, so that was a later time. And records also show that 5 others were put to death after this Alice. But it came back to light after the Salem witch trials that 7 trials and 4 executions had taken place. But anyways, back to this Elizabeth. She passed, and then there was she started shaking and having fits. She had her fits, or she blamed her fits on her neighbor. This, I think her name was Ann or Nicole or something like that. And her neighbor was Rebecca Greensmith. And she had already been suspected of witchcraft prior to that.
Ooh.
And this Greensmith, she confessed to having knowledge of the devil. And she said on Christmas she would hold a merry meeting to form a covenant. And she confessed to meeting with this Goody Ayers who supposedly killed this Elizabeth. And there was also a Mary Sanford, Elizabeth Sager. And they would go into the woods, and neighbors said that they had witnessed them dancing in the woods and cooking in black kettles. And that Rebecca she confessed to it, and her husband had knowledge of it, so you know what? They hung them both. They hung them both just because he acknowledged that his wife dealt with witchcraft, and so they were both hung.
You know, I'd be hung too.
What?
So I have seizures, so I would have been hung.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, no kidding. Gosh, that's just, I don't know. I just don't understand how they, it still baffles me how they come across that and say, oh, I'm going to let a 9-year-old tell me that this person possessed them, and so therefore I'm just going to hang them. It just still is mind-blowing to me how they could do that. But I mean, it was an earlier time, and they probably didn't know how to handle things real well. And I know that after I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now. The guy who was in charge of the trials, after he stepped down, they had somebody else step up. And he kind of seen some wrongdoings there, and he tried to make it right. But by then, it was just too far gone. I mean, the damage was already done. There's nothing that they could have done with that. Darren, I don't know if they have stated that all of Salem is being haunted. I mean, I could see that it would be with all of, what has gone on there in the past, but I don't know for sure, if it is or not. I guess we'd have to go and find out for sure.
According to this, it says, I'm slow at scrolling.
Oh, you're fine.
200 people were accused of witchcraft during the Salem witch trials. Not everybody was accused and was prosecuted.
Yeah.
Or arrested.
So why did they think
140 to 150 people were arrested?
Yeah, so why did they not arrest the other ones that were accused? I guess I don't understand their logic in that. Like, what's the difference? I mean, I don't know.
And
it's mind-blowing to me.
It gives quite a few names. It don't give them all.
Yeah, Kim found a list of names, and these are the people that were hung or accused.
This says these were
arrested for the witchcraft. I mean, and there's men on here. Yeah, the bishops, Sarah and Bridget Bishop are both on there. I mean, there's men on there too. I wish it would tell you their ages and
I suppose if you found the right
site. I mean, there's these have to be, some of these people have to be relative, because there's Mary Bridges Senior, Mary Bridges Jr., there's a Sarah Bridges, and then you go down and there's Carrier, Martha Carrier, Richard Carrier, Thomas Carrier Jr., Bethia Carter Sr. I mean, there's some of these people that have the same so I mean, they have to be, I'm assuming, maybe related, I don't know. But there is a lot.
Oh, you got John Jackson Jr., George.
Yeah, Jacobs
Sr., George Jacobs Sr.
I guess I never knew that they put Senior and Junior behind women's
Elizabeth Johnson Sr., Elizabeth Johnson Jr.
That is so weird to me, though.
Rebecca Johnson, Stephen Johnson.
Yeah, I
don't see any names of our last names in there, so.
No, that's good. Let's see here. I'm curious about the cemeteries, if there even is one, or are they unmarked? I don't know.
Well, let's see if I can find something.
That I don't know, Darren. I think, would we say there was at least 150 that were accused, but there was like 20 of them that were actually hung, right?
It says
In the witch
here,
trials.
says here. How many people were executed? 20 people, 19 victims were hung at, and then
one
person was tortured to death. 4 people who died in prison while waiting trial. The other victims either found guilty but pardoned, found not guilty, or were escaped from jail.
I'm looking here.
I just said,
There's conflicting information about the cemeteries on here. So I was just looking to see. It says that one of the judges, though, for the Salem witch trial was buried in the old Burying Point Cemetery, also known as the Charter Street Cemetery. It is the oldest cemetery in Salem. It opened in 1637. But he does not say anything, though, about any witches being there. There's other things saying that they were, that they weren't going to have a burial site for them, that they just threw them in a shallow grave somewhere and they're unmarked. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've come across that on the internet.
Here's some unknown might have caused them to act like they did.
Yeah, there's that ergot that I said.
Epilepsy.
Yeah.
Lyme disease. Unusual cold weather.
Those are things that, the kids could have been going through that made people think that they were, under some kind of witchcraft, when in reality it was some kind of underlying health issue or an allergy or something. But back then they didn't have the means really to figure that stuff out. And what was that? Did you see that flash of light over there?
I've been seeing flashes of light in my house for
it was
weeks.
a big ball of like red and blue.
I've been seeing them all for the last week. I've just been ignoring them.
Let's see here. Okay, so in that cemetery that I was talking about, it says there is a memorial to the 20 victims of the witch trials from 1692. It's a 4-foot high granite wall surrounds 3 sides with granite benches representing each victim cantilevered inward from the wall. Etched on each bench is a name, means of execution, and execution date. One can read on the stone threshold of the memorial words of the accused taken directly from court transcripts. Visitors will note the words, among them, "God knows I am innocent," are cut off in mid-sentence, representing lives cut short and in deference to the protestations of innocence. So, there is a memorial for them. And if you go to SalemWitchMuseum.com, you can kind of see what this area looks like. Like, it has like a picture and stuff on there. So, it's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to read, though. It's really hard to read.
According to this site, it could have been why they were like epilepsy, and then it says child abuse on this. It could have been mental illness. It could have been many of things that were causing them to act the way they were.
Exactly. But like I said,
But back then they
then-
didn't know this kind of stuff.
right. They didn't have the proper testing or anything like that. They're just going to look at you, oh, it's, the devil. Everything seemed to be the devil back then.
Well, it still is. What are you talking about?
That's true. That's true.
What's the famous saying? The devil made me do it.
Exactly. Yeah, that is true. That is
The
true.
devil made me do it. Uh-huh.
Nope. I don't know if it's still hanging or not, because then I also read that they weren't really actually hung in that area, that people said they were, so I don't know. I read lots of different things in the last couple days, just because it's been a very busy week. Oh,
There was even a reverend accused.
oh yeah, I do remember they did talk about him in that
Let's see.
that show I watched, and the reenactment thing. Yeah, they had him
Yeah,
on there.
it's Reverend George Burroughs.
Yep, I remember that. But if you go to this website, the Salem Witch Museum, you can see kind of these memorials, and it's nice to see that they actually have something for them, and it tells the date that they were hung too. But that's why I have a headache, Darren, is because I'm the devil. The devil gave me a headache, or what? I'm possessed. Who knows? I've just got a really bad headache. It just hit me like all of a sudden. It's probably from this. Trying to figure out this damn computer, I guess. I don't know. But, does anybody have anything that they want to add to this, or?
It says here, although the witch hunt started in Salem, it quickly spread to the neighboring towns called Amesbury, Andover, Salisbury, Topsfield,
Ipswich?
and not for sure how to.
Worcester? I don't know how to say
And
that.
numerous residents of those towns were brought to Salem and put on trial.
Yeah, so they brought people from neighboring towns to put them on trial there too, so. Ooh. Salem Witchcraft Trials. It's a virtual thing. It's a memorial. 33 memorials. And they have them on here. They each have different things. Oh, those are pictured ones. But they show the stones. So you can actually go through. It says findagrave.com. The burying point. Let's see what this is. Oh my. Oh wow. Sorry, I'm just looking up because I love old cemeteries and stuff. So I'm looking through and looking at some of these, and they are just wow. Very cool. Oh, that one has a wicked tree in there.
I know every time we drive by a cemetery, Eric goes, do you see a unique stone you want to go look at? Not in that one. There ain't nothing much in that one. And we go on.
Oh gosh. Oh.
And the witch trials in Mackinac, it's called the Drowning Pool. And if they were accused, they were thrown in this pool.
To see if they could float.
And if they floated, then they were innocent.
Yeah.
If they floated, they were something.
I actually read about that because they did it to that couple in Connecticut.
Yeah.
And they still ended up hanging them. Yeah, I read about that. How they put them in a lake or whatever to see if they would float or not. To determine whether or not they use witchcraft or not.
If they floated, they were witches, but if they sank to the bottom, they were innocent. So you drowned, but they're innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get their logic back then, but I don't know. The Blair Witch there. Funny. That movie gave me a headache, and it made me dizzy watching it. It was interesting to watch, but being from the perspective of somebody with a video camera running around and stuff, that just made me want to vomit. I don't know if there is a big brown house, Darren. Like I said, I looked up stuff in like almost just a day's worth of time. Been super busy with a lot of activities. I have not seen the new one. So I don't even know if I knew there was a new one, actually. Oh, goodness.
Let's see. On September 22nd, 8 people were hung. These were the last hangings of the Salem witch trials. "52 people remained in jail, were tried in a new court, a superior court, the following winter. The new court, let's see, and the remaining prisoners were found not guilty in the new court. Lack of real evidence. Because up here, the evidence just before the last 8 hangings said that they couldn't use certain evidence because it could be faked. Oh, based on dreams and visions wasn't the only evidence used in court during the Salem trial. It was common evidence and the easiest evidence for accusers to fake.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Hello.
Oh, you forgot to turn your sound down.
Oh, it's a message.
Alright. See, that one says 22. Oh, on September 22, 8 people were hanged.
Were the last ones. Then in October, they went to a superior court, and then they all were found not guilty.
Gosh. Imagine that. Okay, so here are some names. This is not with the Salem witch trial or anything like that, but these are supposedly famous witches throughout history, which I've never heard of them, but apparently they're famous. I don't know. But one of them is Catherine Monvoisin, also known as Lavoisin. She actually lived in France in the mid-1600s, it says. She had practiced medicine such as like midwifery and abortions. She mixed potions and poisons and also told fortunes and arranged black masses where clients confer with the devil. And it said that she was also one of the heads of the Affaire des Poisons, a cult who poisoned many members of the French aristocracy, and who had planned to poison King Louis. Her famous client was Madame de Montespan, the king's mistress. It was by Montespan's order that Lavoisin attempted to poison the king for his infidelity. And then in the late 1670s, fear of poisoning and witchcraft reached a fever pitch in the streets of France, and many successful fortune tellers and poisoners, including Lavoisin, were arrested. She was burned publicly after being convicted of witchcraft in 1680. So she was burned.
Ooh.
Yeah.
According to here, some of them might have been found guilty at the end, but the governor pardoned them.
Oh. Here's another one. Alice Keiteler. She was the first recorded woman condemned for witchcraft in Ireland. So, I mean, this is like all over the place.
Oh, here you go.
Oh, those are the dates that they were, I think, executed. She lived from the late 1200s to the early 1300s. and she was married 4 times, which already marked her as an unusual woman. After her 4th husband died, expressing fear that he had been poisoned, his children and the children of her 3 previous husbands accused her of using poison and sorcery against their fathers. She was accused of myriad other depraved acts such as animal sacrifice, worshipping Satan, and using her powers to manipulate and control Christians. One of her servants, Petronella de Meth, was tortured by church authorities and confessed to witchcraft, therefore implicating Keiteler. At that point, Keiteler fled the country, presumably to England. She was never heard from again. I mean, I cannot believe some of these, like... Huh? Never indicted?
Guess who's at the bottom?
Who? Oh, Tituba.
Mm-hmm. Never indicted.
Oh, here you go. This is funny, Darren. You were talking about the Blair Witch. And this one said, if you've seen the Blair Witch Project, then you're already familiar with the legend of the infamous Maud Dyer. Though her story is more lore and superstition than recorded fact, this supposed resident of Leonardtown, Maryland, has been the inspiration between many local tales and even major movies. Dyer lived in the late 1600s. A group of her fellow townspeople accused her of witchcraft, and she was chased out of her home by a group of men on a winter night. Her body was found days later frozen to a large stone. Stories about her malevolent spirit haunting the land around her wooden cabin and terrorizing any who came near as revenge against those who wronged her are rampant. I mean, there are some, like... What? Okay. Ooh. Okay. What?
Refused to enter a plea and was tortured to death.
Oh, Giles Corey.
Instead of pleading guilty or innocent,
they just tortured him.
Got tortured.
Wow. Here we go. This one, I know a little bit about this one. Like, I mean, I remember because American Horror Story. Come on now. Angela Bassett portrayed this person in American Horror Story. What? What? What the fuck? Okay,
These guys are nuts back then.
Okay, so then Kim just found that other victims include 2 dogs who were shot or killed after being suspected of witchcraft. How the hell is a dog a fucking witch? What'd they do? Shit on your doorstep and that's witchcraft or what?
I could see him maybe have a rabies and acting weird.
That could be it. Maybe that's it.
But doing witchcraft?
I don't know. Okay, so Marie Laveau is most accurately described as a voodoo priestess. She lived in New Orleans from 1794 to 1881. That's a place I want to go, is New Orleans. I really want to go. And though little is known about her life, it is widely recorded that she had a massive following and commanded respect as she walked the New Orleans streets. There is speculation that her magic mixed Catholic and African spiritual traditions, that her divinations were supported by a network she assembled while working as a hairdresser and brothel madame, that she owned a snake named Zombie after an African god, and many more. After her death, her gravesite was rampant with vandalism for many visitors who believed Laveau's spirit would grant wishes if they drew an X on her gravestone. Today, one must have a tour guide to enter the cemetery where she is buried. Oh my gosh, I want to go. Who wants to go? I want to go. I mean, I cannot believe this. Oh, yep, and they have Tituba on here too. I mean, there's so many of them. I guess I never really knew that. Holy shit, this one's like from 1500s. Wow.
The day of prayer and fasting was held January 15th, 1698. This was known as the day of officially humanitation, and the judge attended the prayer service and asked the reverend to read a public apology that he had written.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you hung a bunch of innocent people, you twat. Gosh. Oh my goodness. All this talking about witches, I want to watch Hocus Pocus. That's so off subject. That's a scroll. But I love that movie. Hocus Pocus is the shit. I love it. I absolutely love it. But, I mean, I cannot believe this. Like, this one right here is from the 1500s. Ursula Southdale, better known as Mother Shipton, was a highly regarded and feared English prophetess during the 1500s. Locals referred to Mother Shipton as Hagface due to her ugliness and disfigurement. Many believed she was the daughter of a suspected witch, Agatha Southdale, and the devil. Despite her appearance, Mother Shipton was considered England's greatest clairvoyant and was even compared to Nostradamus. Some of Mother Shipton's prophecies foretell many modern events and phenomena. It is said she predicted the Spanish Armada, the Great Plague of London, and the Great Fire of London, the execution of Queen Mary of Scots, and the internet. Holy shit! From the 1500s? She predicted the internet. What is internets? Does anybody remember that? When they talked about that on TV, they had that thing and internet became a thing. They're like, what is internets?
That Ann Putnam Jr.?
Yeah.
She gave a public apology too in 1706.
Wow. A little too late.
For her being role in the Salem trials, and it got her apology right there that she wrote.
Let's see. But let's say, okay, go back to this. Unlike so many other well-known witches, Mother Shipton died a natural death and was buried on the outer edges of York in 1561. They're just, it's nuts. I mean, they have them from, like, Swedish. I mean, they're all over the place. I mean, oh, well, here you go. This is what happened to Tituba, because I don't think they really explained it in the movie that I watched. But it said she languished in prison for a year, as her master would not pay her jail fees. Eventually, in 1693, an unknown individual purchased Tituba from the prison for the price of her jail fees. After this, the woman's path disappeared from history. So who knows what happened to her after that? And who was the mystery person that paid for her to get out?
In 1711, the colony passed a bill restoring some of the names of the convicted witches and paid a total of $600 in restitution to the heirs, since some families of the victims did not want their family members listed. Not every victim was named. Wow.
Ooh, here's another one. Dion Fortune. Born Violet Mary Firth in 1890, Dion Fortune was a British occultist and author, thought of by many as a modern-day witch. She wrote prolifically about the occult in both fiction and nonfiction. In 1924, she founded the Fraternity of the Inner Light, a magical society dealing with religious philosophy and alternative realities. She died in 1946, leaving behind her magical society, which has survived to this day. And they kind of, this Ronald Hutton considers her the foremost female figure of early 1900s British occultism. Oh my gosh, the side of my head's hurting really bad. Ugh. Wow, that is so cool. was looking, there was another one, but who knew that? I mean, I guess I didn't know it dated back that far. You know, you think of that and you think of the Salem witch trials, basically. But, I mean, it's happened for so many years. People have been practicing it, or people have said they were, but they really weren't.
In 2017, on the 325th anniversary of the trials, newly built Proctor's Ledge Memorial was unveiled at the base of the ledge on Pope City.
Mm-hmm.
So they made a memorial.
Wow. Yeah. Where was that at?
Where they hung him.
Oh, okay. Okay. Anybody else have anything before we shut down for the night? I don't know if my brain can handle any more tonight. I'm getting a massive headache.
And she's seeing lights in my house.
Yeah, I'm seeing lights in Kim's house that aren't here, so...
That's okay. I've been ignoring them all week. They've been in my bedroom all week.
Oh, jeez. That's crazy. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night to Shay's Paranormal Chat. I believe. Let's see. Yeah, we're talking second part of the Wilson Castle with Brian Weaver and Kelly Donovan. So make sure you check that out tomorrow night. And next week, it will be a pre-recorded show, but please, I'm sure we'll be in and out of chat. So make sure you join us and listen. It's with Spirit Vision Paranormal Research out of the UK. Awesome group. Lots of experiences. If you haven't checked them out, check them out on YouTube. They're on
Pray to God
Instagram
we don't have
and Twitter too.
Malfunction.
Yeah, pray to God we don't have any malfunctions when it goes to the pre-recorded thing. But it's very awesome. It's an awesome show. It was a pleasure talking to them. Go check them out on YouTube. And I'll give quick shout outs to everybody who's in chat tonight. We had Matt, Darren, and we had Allie. So thank you all for joining us in chat. And thank you for everybody who was listening but was not in chat. We appreciate each and every one of you. Sorry we had so many delays tonight. We finally got it figured out. Hallelujah.
I don't know what we did.
I don't know what happened, but it just did it. But we got it figured out. So thank you for sticking with us. And I hope everybody has a great weekend. Peace out.
Thank you for listening to REP Paranormal and Friends. Be sure to check out Kim and Allison on Facebook at REP Paranormal Busters.